Okay. Hey everybody, this is Dana, your Flat Earth doula. I appreciate you clicking on the video today. I am joined by a Canadian father, podcaster, and freedom fighter. I would encourage all of you, and I'll have it linked in the description, go check out his Loyal to the Foil. He's on TikTok, he's on Lifelog Facebook, as he calls it appropriately, and on a few other platforms as well. But Matt and I came to know one another through Facebook, and just we have a lot of similar interests. We're pretty far away from one another, but we like to get together and kind of go over the current happenings and help try to break it down for people, maybe make it more digestible and maybe reach people that otherwise, would not get the information. So with that, Matt, welcome. And do you have anything to plug? You said you were just on, you did a guest spot on another podcast. What was the
Yeah.
name?
Hey again. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. Yeah. You can find my stuff everywhere. Any stream. I mean, I don't even know what streaming platforms it's on anymore. I don't even keep track because I mean, I put it on maybe three or four, and then I just keep finding other places that it's on. So it's everywhere. You can find me on all social media, basically X and Twitter. I'm Marty McSuperfly. And the gentleman's show that I just did, he's from Indiana. He has a show called Brandon's Tinfoil Tales. I did his show I think I did it on Tuesday night. We probably ran for about 2 hours. Just kind of hitting everything, talking about what's going on, what's happened. And I don't know when that's going to be released. He does his show, he puts his show on Patreon. So, after the episodes kind of get a little bit older, he posts them everywhere else. So you can check out my appearance there as well. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I will see if I can find him on Spotify and make sure that I'm following him. So Matt and I frequently we have all the intentions of getting together and doing something like this once a week, but it never really quite works out that way. And it's been, I think, quite a few months since you were on my channel or vice versa. Um, and there's a lot going on. We have the elections, or technically, we're voting on Tuesday for the president of the United States, and it is. I feel like every 4 years, like this is the most important election of our time, and it's like okay, but I really feel like the United States is in a very precarious position. And while I think they're all Freemason controlled opposition assets for the deep state, one choice to me seems pretty clear, that if Kamala were to be elected, that the country would basically go to hell in a handbasket. But I think it would be a nice ride. It would be like more of a smooth process where we're just going to go like this. I think that if Trump is announced as the winner of that election, we're going to see massive summer of love style rioting, because the left is going to be mad about it, and violence is how they handle their feelings, because your words, Matt, are actually violence against them. So then they can justify what they're going to do. So those are my thoughts. Now I'm curious about Canada. When y'all have elections, and did the summer of love rioting thing really affect you up in Canada that you could tell?
I mean, it's kind of strange. I think that a lot of people that are politically motivated and cover politics. I don't think enough of them really fully grasp and understand how important the United States is to us. I say it all the time on my show and everywhere. Like I am rooting for you guys so hard. I mean, I've been an admirer, a fan of America, the lifestyle, just the place itself, sports, all kinds of things all my life, but I think that there's a lot of influence. There's always a lot of influence. I mean, pretty much everything we see on our TV screens comes from you guys. Of course, it lights a fire under everybody here as well. I mean, the political stuff just it never stops. And I mean, you get people screaming Orange Man bad here as well. I mean, and anybody that's listened to us before knows. how I feel. Like I like to try and be really respectful, no matter who it is that you support or you like. I mean, sure, I'll get into it with you, but I don't understand how anybody could think that one side is better than the other. I mean, who knows? It's yet to be seen if there really is going to be a difference. I don't think we've ever really seen one in the past. Just people don't really, they just seem to get memory hold. That's why I call them goldfish. They just the memory lifespan of people nowadays is just destroyed. And that's done on purpose. We know from the really short videos that we absorb all the time and the fact that it's just, it's a psyop every other day now.
Yeah.
In Canada, we have that the same gentleman last week asked me, well, what do you guys do in Canada? What's the voting thing? Like, what are the term limits?
Yeah.
Um, there are none. Okay, so our supreme leader has to either die or get voted out.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is there's more than just two parties here. There's always been like a three, four, or five party race,
Mhm.
and a lot of the time, a lot of different parties get big chunks of the voting. But in recent years, they understood that if they made backdoor deals, they could actually combine the parties and have more seats in our House of Commons,
But like
which
have it
is
look like there's still a choice, but really that those two choices come from the same.
well, they do, but they don't even hide it. They literally will sit to, like it's they form what's called a coalition. So
Okay.
right now there's an NDP and Liberal coalition in Canada versus the Conservatives. Then there's the Green Party. The Conservatives are led by Pierre Poilievre, who would hands down win an election. I think the last time I checked, it was like 70-30. And even 20 to 25% of the people that would vote Liberal do not want our Supreme Leader in. 24 of his own MPs asked him to step down earlier this week. I made a guess, and I'll admit it to everybody, I was wrong. I guessed that he was going to step down earlier this week. It was just a hunch that I had. I was, I don't really take too many risks. I
But
try and look into everything, but he didn't step down, unfortunately. It looks like, excuse me, there was supposed to be a Canadian election scheduled for next fall. And to be honest, it looks like there's actually going to be one probably mid to late November. So who knows what's going to happen? I think that ultimately, if what I've been kind of anticipating happen is the de-dollarization of the United States happens, I mean, it's going to destroy our country as well. Of course, who knows what it's going to do down there. But I mean, with the BRICS nations coming together, and now actually the latest thing I saw last night, because happy Halloween, everybody. By the way, when I took my son out, I didn't get to do. I didn't. All of this went away. I just focused on my son and having fun with him. It's one of the last times I'm probably going to be able to go out for Halloween with him. So I just focused in. When I got home, though, I slowly started to okay, what can I find? What can I read? And I actually just found out last night that the old Russia thing is back. And now what I read last night was that what's going on with the polls, when people are seeing Trump up in the polls, they're now blaming Putin once again. So
right. Oh, God. The stories are so that they recycle the same storyline and throw
mhm,
different adjectives in, but nothing's really different, you know?
it's the same playbook all the time. They run the same playbook over and over and over again. They
It's
might
like
change some of the
sports.
actors or yeah.
Well, I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, really, it's a playbook and all and that's the thing, and that's where I think there's a little bit of a disconnect when like you try to talk to a normie about something like secret societies or they kind of have this idea that it couldn't possibly be that way, and they only have they're only given so much information and they're only allowed to travel within certain areas. They can't go wherever they want until you're up at the top, but every one of those people, they know they're doing their job and that's it. And how they have to know that they're being used, and if they are smart enough to know that they're being used, that's a choice that they made. It they have no intellectual integrity, they have no independent thought.
Independent thought. No, no.
Yeah, it's really we have a lot of Freemasons in this county. um I mean, it just there's Tartarian architecture in downtown, the city that I live in. Well, live near. I'm in the middle of nowhere here, but the closest city where I live, there's evidence of mud floods.
Wow.
And the building was founded, all the buildings that we found, because I'm like, yeah, babe, it's why it says found it because they found it.
And they
Um,
put their fucking name on it. Yeah.
and then they put up what does the city have? An obelisk near the
Hmm.
War Memorial and a replication of the cracked Liberty Bell that is, of course, the original is home in Philadelphia.
So yeah.
So it's like even in a small nondescript place like this, we still have these secret societies that like I don't think that the secret societies here are influencing the playbook. They don't get to call any of the plays. They just get told what to do and they move in unison without without any independent thought. And um,
Hmm.
yeah, I had a point there, but I lost it. It's just that
Well, you know what? You know what I was just thinking is a real like sometimes I think there's got to be easy breakdowns. Just instead of hey Normie, hey Goldfish, I have 7,000 terabytes of information for you to read. How about I just force you, ask you to look at for the United States, what about the Smith-Mundt Act that Obama passed in 2012, which made it legal for the government to feed their own people propaganda? Like, does anybody, I mean, if, let's just say you don't think any of it is a lie. Okay, well, let me just prove to you that they made it legal for them to lie to you. And then you maybe reassess if they can or if you think that they will. We know that they don't think they will, and they're all good people. And Barry and Mike are doing great things for people as they steal $500 million to build libraries and shit. Of course, right? Okay. Um, but that's ludicrous. As far as the um, Illuminati and the Freemasons, so that's another thing that's super easy to do. As I make the fucking hand gesture, sorry guys. Yeah. I think it's because I just know too much. Um,
like
so
yeah.
the as far as that, a real easy thing to do. I mean, I tested the theory myself. Like, I mean, if just a brief, history lesson on it. Adam Weishaupt is the one that came up with the original idea for the Illuminati itself in the mid 1700s. In 1776, he creates the Illuminati. In 1777, what does he do? He becomes a master mason. What does he do by infiltrating the Masons? He gets exactly what we talked about before. I like your ideas. I need you to do this. I want you. But he changed Freemasonry. Like, and we've talked about it before. We talked about, a friend that you introduced me to that I spoke to. And I kind of what I thought was the case, he kind of confirmed that for me is, of course, there are people like you that are in this group that have no ill intentions, et cetera, et cetera. But then don't tell me that there isn't the flip side of that coin. There's always the yin and the yang. There's the north and the south, whatever. But what I'm talking about with Adam Weishaupt, the creator of the Illuminati, of course, the order of the Illuminati is the Eye of Providence. It's that logo that you see on your money, on your dollar bill. Take a look how many 13s are on a dollar bill. There's 13 levels of that pyramid on exactly on top of the Eye of Providence, which originally was a good logo. But once Adam Weishaupt gets in there, creates the Illuminati, what does he do? He wants to take over everything, whether it be education, health, government, everything. And that's exactly what he did. He transformed Freemasonry by just infiltrating it. He changed the rules. He made everything so much different, and he got everybody involved. When you talk about all the Freemason presidents, I believe right now it's 42 of your presidents have been Freemasons. So I mean, and they all date back to Hinckley's. They're all related. Obama, everybody. If you're not aware, Obama and George Bush are ninth cousins.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, all this information. I have a point here as well. All this information is all stuff you can find. If you trust the ABC company, if you trust Brave, if you trust Yandex, if you trust DuckDuck, type who created the Illuminati in. Type in the Smith-Mundt Act. Exactly what I've said is what you will read. Of course, it's not word for word. I got this information downloaded to my caveman brain here, but it's all verifiable information. So when they say things like trust the science and things like that, then okay, then trust the literature. Go read it. You can find it for yourself. And then, you just have to assess whether you're willing to admit your ego is at stake here and let it go and move on to the truth, right? We can come together.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, at a certain point when Freemason originally started, like, not in 17, but before that, when men were just kind
Got
of
it free, right? Yeah.
share ideas, like, was it better intentioned at that point, and then they got the power and they were like, "Ooh, we can do pretty much anything now." And every major industry that we have and that we rely on, every single one of those have their foundations in Freemasonry and were founded by
Everything,
Freemasons. Like these,
everything. Look at, well, what color gloves is Mickey wearing?
education, the health sector, technology. Don't think that Elon's not our savior either. Like all of that is yeah, yeah, it's just it's wild how you made me think about, there's a picture of George Bush with his arm around Obama when Obama was like 8 or 9. And again, that's a picture people can go ahead and look. Now there's rumors, I don't know that's ever been confirmed or ever will be officially confirmed, that George Bush was a member of the Skull and Bones, which is a um,
Absolutely.
an old world death cult version of probably what Freemasonry originally was. And just like our Bible has been taken and perverted and twisted and things added and taken away, just like our Bible is like a distortion of the true word of God, so is modern Freemasonry a distortion
Mhm.
of the probably the original premise of these men, which was to get together and share intellectual information and to have a boys club.
All of them, and that's exactly it. It's the same as when, like the Knights of Templar to me are a great example because originally fantastic, ideal. They're meant for a good, positive, not a harmful purpose, not to deceive anybody, nothing like that. But everything gets infiltrated. They don't change the name; they change who runs it and what their ideology is, what their agenda is. So, I mean, the Knights of Templar, that's a good one to me. Of course, the Freemasons. I mean, but look at, yeah, Skull and Bones. You've got the Club of Rome, the CFR, all the three-letter agencies. They're all a part of it. And I mean, I had an argument when I had my original TikTok because I posted something about George Bush. I love going at the Bush crime family. And I mean, let's not forget the man that shot Ronald Reagan was a Hinckley, was George Bush's disabled cousin, right? Who's the one who shot? Sorry, there was another president that was shot by a Hinckley as well, a very famous president, and it just slipped my mind. But that was a Hinckley as well.
Is it
Hinckley's are Bushes. Bushes are Obama. They're all the same.
Was it Abraham Lincoln was shot by?
Probably yes.
Like, yeah, it's too on the nose to be a coincidence. I just yeah, yeah, I think you're
Yeah, when Hinckley was questioned, I can never forget this because, like I said, I love going hard at the Bush family, mostly because of 9/11, but for everything. I mean, people forget that George Bush was, one of the highest ranked members of the CIA. And this is what I got in an argument on TikTok about is people trying to stick up for people they don't know that trashed them. But when the police asked why Hinckley shot Reagan, he said because Uncle George told me to. So I mean, you know, uh, this information, all of this information, they could be smacked right in the face with this information and still say no because oh no, Hillary's a really good person. She looks like my grandma, or there's no way she must be a good. None of these people are good people. And like I've said before, I do think there are good people in politics. But the thing is if you ever get to um, the highest places of power. They're not going to allow, like, let's say even Donald Trump is a great man. He's a great person. He's got great intentions. He wants to help everybody. Do you think he's going to be allowed to? Right? Like, I personally don't. And the JFK, unveiling the JFK files was one of them. And I mean, Rogan asked him about it this week. I knew that was one of the things that he wanted to ask him very much was about the JFK files. And he danced around it and said, oh no, there's people that are still alive that would, could stand to be in trouble. What does that tell you? That tells you that the government is involved right there, right? I mean, all of this information is there. We know where the term conspiracy theorist comes from is from the JFK assassination itself, right? So all the information is available for people.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I think people have, and I blame modern education as well. People
Yeah,
are used to
indoctrination.
spoon-fed information as opposed to having a curious thought and then chasing that down. Like, oh, well, what is that? Who was that other? Wow, there was two Hinkleys
Mhm.
killed two different presidents. that's weird. Like these, or, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams of 9/11, none of this stuff.
George Bush is also involved in the JFK assassination as well. I keep trying to stay away from JFK because it's been done to death. But let me hit you with one thing that I don't know if you heard or if you read on my page, just real quick, because this shit blew me out of the water. Um, you know, obviously about Operation Paperclip and Admiral Richard Byrd, right?
Yes.
So, Admiral, when I did deep dives into this, well, not super deep, but I did. I went into Nazi Base 211 and Admiral Byrd, and I know from what I've read that he went there 4 times. 3 times was on, he wanted to go there, he wanted to explore. The fourth time was for the government. That was Operation Paperclip. Well, I only just found out last week or the week before, excuse me, that the building, the Texas Books Depository that Oswald apparently used a magic bullet to kill JFK with, was actually owned, excuse me, by Admiral Byrd's cousin. And Admiral Byrd's cousin is the one that funded his first 3 trips to Antarctica. Where was JFK going when he was in that car ride on Elm Street in Dallas that day? He was going to meet the physicist that was with Admiral Richard Byrd on those first 3 trips to Antarctica. JFK, from what I can tell, and like I said, I keep trying to stay away from this because it's been done to death, but I feel like I can get it at a different angle, if that sounds reasonable. But he was going there's actually some chatter that JFK wanted to do joint missions with Russia. He wanted to share all of the information that these physicists and that Admiral Byrd had from Antarctica with the Russians and work together. So great. Ratner is his name, the man that JFK was going to meet. Like, can you? I had no idea. What a coincidence that the building that Oswald apparently shot him from was owned by his cousin. And if you look this man up, it's like R.H. Byrd is his name. That's actually Admiral Byrd's cousin. He's an oil tycoon.
Seriously. See, and this, like, the concept, it's it it can't possibly be a coincidence. And I'm just hoping that we kind of bring people a little bit closer to that truth. And so I guess this would be like a good time to say that you should not believe Matt or myself when I tell you these,
No,
especially like what I found and the way that I've gathered information. When somebody says something, and my first thought is, "Oh, that's bullshit." That's the thing I know I need to look into. So then you start Googling all these things, and well, not Google. Please don't use Google, but go and investigate this for yourself. A lot of papers are available on CIA.gov, just right on their
mm-hmm.
website. Anybody,
Yep.
and those are the ones that talk about. I think like there's a couple, right? So there's like Operation Fishbowl, um, Paperclip, the other
High
one,
jump,
Mockingbird is another one.
high jump, high jump is
I
another.
know, there you go. There's also
Yeah.
something called Project Hydra, which I've not looked into much.
I'm not sure if I have. There's Montauk as well, which is the original MK Ultra. That's where MK comes from, is Montauk.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know that. See?
That's a Nazi one. I know we always talk about it. I just want to hit one thing real quick. If maybe your viewers don't know, and I was actually kind of surprised that some people hadn't heard this is um, I know it's a long shot, and I'm sure it's probably going to go nowhere, of course. And I'm not trying to be a black belt guy, but we know that Bill Gates is actually on trial in the Netherlands right now, and
Mhm.
he's being they're trying to hold him accountable for improperly advertising and speaking out for the Jacks.
Mhm.
The 7 people took him to court. One person has already died of their side effects. He's already had one court appearance, and he's due back in court on November 27th.
Mhm. Mm. Now, does he physically have to present himself, or can he send like? I mean, if you know, I
Well,
guess.
he wants
I,
he well, the funny thing was is he tried to use that as a way to get out of it. He tried to say that I'm not a citizen of the Netherlands, so I have I don't need to be there. I'm not coming there. Well, at the same time, he's pushing a one world government and one world current. So he's once again, just like his carbon output, he's rules for thee, not for me. I guess is the easiest way to put it. It's like Taylor Swift, with
About
eight eight thousand 8,200 tons of carbon emissions per year. You put out 16, no zeros after it. She puts out 8,000, and she's going to tell you how to live, right? Bill Gates is going to tell us how to live. All, like I said, everything. Don't you exactly? I 100% agree with you. You don't have to listen to anything that we're saying, especially me. I'm out of my mind. I only took the tinfoil off this just to do this interview. Okay, but normally it's on there. Look it all up, guys. All the information is there.
Yeah, it is. It is. And thank goodness for that, like in a sense. I don't know, Matt, have you ever listened to a guy on YouTube called My Lunch Break?
Yep.
Okay. So he talks a lot about old world civilizations and
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
but more so his channel focuses on um going to what would be considered these old world buildings around the world, over the realm, whatever.
Mhm.
And looking to see what they share in common. And the one thing that he's begun picking up on is there's always a fire, and then it's
Yeah.
all um, rebuilt by some unknown person, and that's when it was founded. It's the yeah, it's the crazy. I don't know. It's wild. It's wild to me.
I'm into my lunch break. Yeah, I like that a lot. The other one that I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He's been in the game, like Jordan Maxwell, Bill Cooper type thing. Is Oli Demigard. He's got, if you haven't checked out his site, he is fantastic. I'm shocked, but he's someone that I actually decided to write an email to, and he responded to me. We screwed up our dates, but he told me he was coming on the 25th of November, and then he all of a sudden scheduled it for October 25th. But we've got it sorted out. He's coming on. He covers some of that as well. You should check out his website. It's fantastic. He also, well, he covers everything, but he actually has what he thinks to be. I know this might be up there with crazy as flat Earth, but I don't know because I've never touched it. He said he's got proof that Elvis is still alive. And he's actually someone that he's from Switzerland and he lives in the Philippines. So he doesn't have any sort of, any dog in the race when it comes to American political
Right.
officials and everything. But he actually covered the Trump assassination, and you would be blown away with what he found.
Well, that's
Like
cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out. How's it spelled? How's that name spelled?
I'll send you the link to his website. It took me a while to find him as well because I couldn't figure it out, but he's got an amazing website.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely check that out. And it's really cool that he wrote back and is gonna come on.
He
Um,
did. I was so stoked, and then I thought I screwed it up with the dates, but he totally understood. He just wrote it the wrong day, so we've got it scheduled. It's going to be awesome. I just don't know what to talk to him about. Um,
yeah.
Trump supporters, they probably don't want to hear what he has to say about that first assassination attempt, but they should because I listened to it, and I'm telling you, you would love it.
Is it really
Um,
cool?
it's very surprising. He's got a lot of stuff on his website. I mean, any of your listeners are, I would definitely suggest checking him out as well as my lunch break is awesome too.
So guys, make sure you are following Matt. His page is loyal to the foil in most places. Now I know he, congratulations on getting banned from TikTok for the first time. So now he's now he's on loyal to the foil too.
Yeah,
it's just my name, Dana Bannigan. Keeping it simple for my TikTok profile number 5, because I've been banned 4 times.
yeah,
So please check us out. We are going to try and deep dive into some other things, and we're going to put that up with Matt on Spotify. But again, he's available on YouTube, Rumble, and basically all podcasting platforms. Matt, anything you want to throw in before we end the recording?
no, thank you. I appreciate. I mean, anybody listen. All I really want to say is, guys, don't believe me. The only person that can convince you is you. So go if you really want to find out, go find out. It's in your best interest, and even more so, it's in your children and their children's best interest. Honestly, God.
Right. We really do have to wake up because it is for the kids, because the country is going in a really bad direction. And kind of, I guess, to bring it back to what you said in the beginning, you know, it does quite feel like the United States is a dam holding back a flood.
Mhm.
And that flood is the New World Order and their tyrannical oppression. And I'm not saying that Trump is capable of holding it back. It just seems to me at least one tries to make it look like he's doing something, and things were a little bit better then.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I really am thinking about going in and writing in my father's name for president. So I can tell him, like, hey, just so you know, once you were voted for president of the United States, like, that's pretty cool. So
There's just so many of you guys. You guys can make the difference. That's why I think I rely and so many other countries. Your population is massive. You have a lot of solid freedoms. Independent states can do things that like our provinces can't. You guys are educated. You're well spoken. You're willing to stand up. You have availability to arms, which was all taken away from us as well. Like I really, really hope. I mean, whatever outcome you guys want, whatever you think is best, I'm totally behind you. I just want people to be like if Trump makes a bunch of mistakes, if he gets elected, just hold him accountable too. That's all I ever ask, really, is just hold everybody accountable, just not the person you're told to like or dislike, you know?
I have a hard time with Trump because I just want to make sure we don't get cut off. I have a hard time with Trump because I call him President Warp Speed. Because to
Yeah.
me, 2020, the COVID scandemic, all of that took place under his watch. And if he really is, these people that believe in like the QAnon conspiracy theories, if he really is and has been the commander in chief this whole time, why have things gotten so bad? And
Money.
yeah, that's a
That's why he did it. To me, that because think about it. If you look at him pre 2020, he was all anti-vax.
yeah.
Everything was anti-vax. And then from what I remember looking it up, and I'm pretty sure he got a pretty hefty pay. I mean, prove me wrong, guys. Yell at me, call me anti whatever. I don't support anybody. Okay, guys. I'm not MAGA. I'm not this. I'm not that. I just want whatever's best for you guys. Really, I don't care who it is. I think that with 340 million people, two options isn't an option.
No, I'd agree. I'd have to agree with that. And the candidate that they put up for the Libertarian Party is a leftist progressive. Like he's not a libertarian in any way, shape, or form. So even the smaller parties have been taken over by this plague of super uber progressive to the point of being almost criminally offensive progress that's led to things like LGBTQ class activities in school so that we can begin to
Oh,
normalize. And if we continue to remain ignorant and willfully blind to this, we are sending our children into the fire. We are, and we're not giving them the tools they need to make it out.
without the ability to procreate for life, forever changes when if you can't vote, you can't get a tattoo, you can't smoke, but you can go like, oh man, I hate getting into that because it just, I mean, I have a child and that's everything to me. Guys, puberty blockers is chemical castration. It's the exact same medication. There is no difference. It's the same drug with a different sprinkling on top of it. And all the sprinkling is the fucking name for depopulation purposes.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, so they can put a patent on it. That's what the name is. They change it just a little bit so then they can patent it as a new drug, but it's the same
Yep.
drug with a little bit. Yeah, it's a little
What
bit.
they used to give to pedos, that's what they used to give to pedos.
Mhm.
Now they want like I can't. This is something that I always say like it's demoralization. And how else? What easier way to get you to depopulate the earth by just never having fucking children? Like I can't believe it. It's the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't know. I know I understand some people don't want to, but that's a part of the narrative that they're feeding you. You don't need this. You don't want this. You don't like nobody, like you said earlier, independent thought. It's almost non-existent now.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt, honest to God, I feel like I could talk to you for 2 to 3 hours too. I myself have.
Let's set up another show and we'll record it for my show maybe this weekend if you're available.
Yeah, I'm working, but I'm available in the evenings. I don't know if that works for you, but
Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
So guys, if you got this far in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate that you did that. If you could just hit the like button, the heart, whatever platform we are on. I don't expect this to stay up too long on YouTube, but I'm going to put it up there anyway. And if you want to, I do have your information, like your, what am I trying to say? I do have
Giant blurb.
links, but I don't have your new TikTok. So I'm
Okay.
gonna get that in there, and we can go show Matt some support and get him some supporters. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will check in with you soon.